Good evening and welcome to another live broadcast with Green TV and the Pat Foundation. We're actually at episode number 20. So we've had a multitude of guests. Now this week we have the Mayor of Middlesbrough, Andy Preston. So very super excited to have a conversation. So I hope you're ready for it, Andy. So hello, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Really good. Very looking forward to it. Good chat. I hope you've got some good questions teed up.
No pressure. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. It does, it's a very worthwhile show that we're doing, and it means a lot to have you as support. So first of all, the Mayor of Middlesbrough, tell us why you decided to become mayor.
Right, good question. So I'm a kind of different mayor. So most places have a mayor, and that normally means you're one of the councillors, and the other councillors decide who they want as the sort of ceremonial mayor who does stuff, turns up at events or whatever. That's not what I do. So I'm directly elected by the people. So the public elect me. I'm not a councillor. The public elect me to be the mayor. I'm an executive mayor. That means I have executive powers. So I have a mayoral system, which not many places have it, but Middlesbrough has it. A mayoral system, the mayor has more power than a regular council leader, which leads to, I think the idea is faster decision making, perhaps more effective decision making, and stuff gets done. That's the theory, and that's what I try and do. So I'm directly elected by the people. I'm highly accountable. I'm very visible where I'm based. So that means that when people see me, they criticize me or they praise me. So I'm very answerable and accountable. So I have to do a brilliant job. I can't hide. There's no hiding place.
You are very hands-on, I must admit. I've seen you post, and you always, I think, popping on my newsfeed on LinkedIn, you're always out and about and doing various projects. So that's really good that you're hands-on as a mayor, so.
Sure, yeah.
Very commendable. So tell me a bit about your work in the city. So I know you're very active, as you just said.
Yeah, well, my job is to basically lead the council. So all of the stuff that the council does, whether it's emptying the bins, winning investment, helping our schools achieve all of the stuff, whether it seems boring or exciting, I'm ultimately responsible. So if something goes wrong, I get the blame. It's my face on the front of the paper or on the telly or whatever. And if it goes really well, I don't get the credit, but I sometimes get little nice emails from people, but I rarely get any credit. That's the way it works. You get all the bad stuff and on the good stuff. But my job is really about leading the council, trying to lead the town, trying to set a new path. So in Middlesbrough's case, and I know you're based down near Hull, I think a lot of people are perhaps listening and watching in the Hull area. Middlesbrough and Hull have actually been on a similar path over recent decades, where there's been economic decline. The centres of the places have generally declined, and there are problems with crime and antisocial behaviour and other things, lack of investment. So my mission is to put that right. I've got a lot of experience. I used to work in international finance. I used to raise billions around the world. I used to manage funds, including hedge funds in London and New York. And I'm using some of the skills, some of the knowledge that I've learned, adopted and adapted to try and renew the centre of Middlesbrough. We're making great progress. We've got a fantastic digital sector. We're bringing thousands of new people in to live in the centre. We're repositioning the centre of town as a place of leisure and fun. And so we're doing really great things, and we're building it up, and it's an exciting time to be involved, but it's hard work.
Exactly. I mean, you're definitely rejuvenating. I've watched your social media and I've seen the work that you do. I mean, you share something very close to my heart in terms of the environment and the trees and the veterans. So, that leads me closely onto the day. I think the Green Task Force, we came back. I think it was last month or the month before. Time's going so fast at the moment. And we came up to plant some trees, and you kindly came down and you planted some trees as well, even though you'd got your nice posh clothes on and you didn't have your wellies on hand, but you managed to get the spade and sort of dig in. Now, you spoke with some of the veterans there and saw the benefits of the planting trees. And, we'll talk a bit more about the mission with trees and obviously that correlation. But tell me how you felt with the veterans and the story. I think spoke to a couple of our guys and how that impacted on you as a
mayor. Again, I think I spoke to more than a couple. It was a fantastic time. It was just great to be there. Really, Listen, I mean, I think that, you know, everyone uses the phrase now, the word mindfulness, don't they? And I think that, you know, so often, I mean, it's a cliche, but it's true, is that we're running around, running from one thing to another. We're doing one thing, we're watching telly, but we're on our phones. You're driving, but you're on the phone at the same time, and you're running around trying to got three things in your head. Sometimes when you've got a task that's physical, like planting trees or picking up litter, it's actually completely absorbing. What happens is you become focused on it. You stop thinking about all of the other stuff that clutters your head and makes you worry and raises your anxiety and blood pressure. And it's fantastic. And I saw that. I saw it. I felt it in me when I was doing it. And I saw it in the other people, how therapeutic and how beneficial it is. I put a post out the other day about how trees are great for mental health. And a guy came back and challenged me and said, oh, well, I've had mental health issues for years. Trees never helped me. And then he came back and said, well, how exactly do trees help? And I sent him some research. But actually, I think a better answer would have been, it's not just the impact they have when you see them and the fact they clean the atmosphere. The act of connecting with nature, so helping to plant trees, helping to tidy up an area, helping to improve the environment, that physical effort, that bit of energy, it really does stop you. You cannot think about other things.
It grounds you. It makes you very present in the moment, you know, rather than thinking about, oh, I've got to get home, I've got to feed the kids, I've got to, you know, it makes you very present in that.
That's the right phrase, Gail, the right word. You're present, exactly. Present. And I think there are a number of things you can do to achieve that, but this is one of them. But if you can be present and do something that really benefits others too, like tree planting, I don't want to just totally talk about tree planting, but like tree planting, it's just fantastic. And I saw it in the work you do with the veterans and some other people. There were a range of people there, right? Many had come up from the Hull area, and it was just it was a great thing to see you all, to feel connected and to share that being present together. It was really good.
And it's actually helped rehabilitate, you know, other people. We've had, you know, people that have unfortunately stumbled on a bad path in life and turned to crime. And it's kind of rehabilitating, because I had one who was a former drug addict. He won't mind me saying this. And he said, by planting the trees, it's something to show his kids that he's done, you know, when they're there, when they've grown older, and they're going, oh, my dad planted those trees. And, you know, just a simple thing like that is long lasting. And so there's a sense of pride there. So yes, so thank you so much for coming up. It was a great day, you know, and it's led on to many other things and projects. So tell me some more about what you're doing in Middlesbrough, Andy.
Okay. So one of the big things is cleaning up. All right. So of course the council's job is to play a role in cleaning the streets, emptying the bins, and doing all that stuff. And we continue to do that, and that's great. But especially over the last 12 months during the COVID era that was sort of hopefully exiting now, there's been a build-up around the country of fly tipping, of littering. People are producing more rubbish. Some of the tips have been closed. So streets, parks, playgrounds, open spaces have got a bit muckier with refuse, domestic and commercial. And instead of whinging about it, we've now got a range of fantastic, awesome community groups who get out. They might go out. Some people go out. There's literally people I could name now, but I won't name some because I'll forget some. And they go out every day on their own, or with a mate, or their husband or wife or whatever, and they collect a bag of rubbish every day on their walk. But in addition to that, there are group scale that get together, and I sometimes join them on a Sunday. There was about 50 of us out last Sunday, and the fire brigade came and put on tea and coffee for us, and we cleaned all along the River Tees, and from all of the towns along the River Tees, Middlesbrough, Stockton, Billingham, Thornaby. There were people there from all over, and it was the most beautiful communal thing. Everybody made the area cleaner, greener, and everyone got. You used that word present, right? And I talked about mindfulness. Everybody was present doing something. It's so therapeutic. So we've got that going on. We are reducing crime really well. We've got a range of measures. I won't go into too much detail because some of it might be politically contentious. We're fighting crime hard.
It sounded like you're some superhero then, Andy. Sort of like,
oh goodness, not at all. No, the police do it, and our council staff do it. I just I sit in the
We'll be
background.
seeing
But
you
we are.
in the future with your Superman, your pants outside of your trousers, fighting crime. There you go. There's
Don't
your
give me
little
ideas.
banner.
But no. So we're fighting crime hard. One of the things we have to do is repopulate the centre of town in Middlesbrough. We have central Middlesbrough is the centre of 400,000 people. Our council area is smaller than that, but what's happened over 40 years, lots of people have left the centre. They live way out of town. And that's really bad news for the shops. It's really bad news for the restaurants. It's really bad news for crime. And what you end up with in the centre of town is people who've been here for a long time and perhaps can't afford to move anywhere else. And you end up with a very, very one-dimensional, generally fairly deprived demographic, which is not healthy. So we need a balanced demographic. So what we're doing now is putting all of this stuff in place. We start building on Tuesday, loads of new houses and apartments, some posh stuff for people who can afford it, some social housing for people perhaps on more modest budgets. And we're going to repopulate the centre of town. We start that work on Tuesday.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, well done. And obviously that's going to create jobs, which obviously then will, people can filter the money back into the economy. So
absolutely, jobs and
that's
energy.
absolutely brilliant. Well, if you need any veterans for your construction work,
well, get in touch. Absolutely. There's a construction boom just kicking off in Middlesbrough. Genuinely, a construction boom, and I think we're going to see loads of jobs available of all kinds, from the highest qualified to perhaps jobs that are more manual or more labouring. And there are going to be all kinds of jobs available. So that's great news. And the other thing is,
Boris has put a lot of money into that, hasn't he? So
yes,
Boris
absolutely.
has put some funding into that. So
absolutely right. And I think government funding will continue for building and other things like that, as you do when there's a financial crisis. Yes. Building homes and building stuff is one of the best ways to deal with it.
Yeah, bit of some productivity. So I've got Steve Wilson on in a couple of weeks. I think he's going to come on next week, but the election down here is obviously all over is taking place. So he's had a bit of a pledge to plant more trees in the city. So I thought I'd create a little rivalry in towns in terms of, right then, Andy, you're on here first. What's going to be your pledge to get more trees, and are you going to use the veterans?
Well, so the challenge with planting trees in somewhere like Middlesbrough is so although we're a big urban area, our council area that I'm responsible for is really tiny and it's very densely populated. There is very little space, very little space. So it's a real challenge for us. So neighbouring boroughs of ours are 2, 3, 4, 5 times the size with loads of land, but we really struggle with land. So we aren't going to be able to plant as many trees as some places, but we planted 15,000 or so in the first year that I was elected, and that's a mixture of mature, semi-mature, and new stuff. And we're going to plant 10,000 every year. That's like guaranteed. That's done. But what I would like to do is across our urban area, which covers a range of boroughs, I'd like to get something going where we agree between us all to fund and make happen something like 1 million trees over the next 10 years. I need to get the buy-in of colleagues in neighbouring boroughs for that. But I think that's doable. I think it makes sense, and I'll be speaking to them about that.
Well, I think if we all work together, it's that power of the people thing, isn't it? I think if enough voices and enough noise is made even, then I know we're just losing signal a little bit there with Andy, but I know that obviously we'll get this mission done. Are you okay with your signal there, Andy? Yeah.
Is it okay?
So we're back. It's okay. It's just a little cutting out a little bit, but we're back.
Okay.
So in terms of the city and the regeneration, what else is on the cards? What else can we look out for from you, Andy?
So we are repositioning central Middlesbrough as an absolute leisure destination. We're never going to be competing with York. We don't have like an ancient minster, and we don't have the castle and all of that stuff. We're a much younger place, so we don't have that. But we do have the ability to create fantastic leisure facilities, all the stuff that you might do on a weekend, right, with your family or your friends, and whether it's cinema, bowling, indoor golf, dining, whatever, all the stuff that humans do. A lot of our leisure facilities, as our population has become more suburban and left town, our leisure facilities have migrated out and followed them. And what we're doing is we're bringing people back in, but we're bringing the leisure back in. So repositioning central Middlesbrough. So we've got, in central Middlesbrough, we have a 1.5 million square feet of shops, right? And with what's happening in retail across the globe, we don't need that many shops, right? So we maybe need 1 million square feet, maybe a bit less, I don't know. So we are rapidly converting shops into places where you do leisure, whether it's some kind of entertainment, whether it's a cinema, whether it's all of this stuff. So we're really pushing hard on that. In fact, I think I'm on ITN News at 10 tonight talking about this very thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So leisure is a big thing, but we're making the centre of town clean, green, feel safe. We want more people working in the centre of town, so we're building offices and getting them let, building up our digital cluster, which is we've got so many brilliant technology businesses here in Middlesbrough, but bringing people in to live, to work and to play. That's what my mission is.
Oh, and that's going to be massively beneficial because we've all been on lockdown for a year. We've all been cooped up. So people are going to, as soon as the pandemic reduces a little and, things are a little better and lifts and everything gets back to normal. I mean, what's the first thing people are going to be wanting to do is that social element. So that's brilliant. That's absolutely massive. So well done on that score. I've got loads of questions are coming through here, but I'm going to carry on with the chatter. So yes, in terms of moving forward then, so I'd also like to ask you on terms of you being the mayor, Andy. So you told me when we was on the tree planting that you had a chance of being in the Beverley Constabulary. Well, I live in Beverley myself. So what was that story? How did that come about there?
Beverley constituency.
Yeah, how did you come over to Middlesbrough?
Yeah, do you mean constituency?
I'm not sure that the conversation that we was having, you said you went to run for Beverley in some sort of, was it counselling or was it?
No, right. So some years ago, I was an active Labour Party member, and there was a point where I actually wanted to be a Labour MP, and I got the chance. I was actually asked by the people of Beverley and Holderness, which is a constituency. I think Graham Stewart is the MP, local Tory.
Yes, Graham Stewart. Yes, he is.
Don't know Graham, but I would have been standing against him.
I know Graham very well. So right,
all right,
okay,
yeah, I don't know him, but I would have been standing against Graham, and I was selected. However, things conspired, and I did not stand. And I did something. I had to do other things basically, and I then left the Labour Party. I fell out of love with the Labour Party as they changed. I won't go into the politics because I don't want to alienate some of your viewers. But and I'm now independent. I'm politically independent, so I don't belong to any party. I don't have any particular angle or view. As an independent mayor of Middlesbrough, my job is just to get stuff done, regardless of whether it's a Tory, Labour, or other idea. Just make stuff happen. But yeah, so in down there in East Yorkshire, I got to know the area a little bit. I know Beverley. I love it. And we mentioned the pub Nellie's. I know Nellie's. I've had a drink in Nellie's.
Yes, yeah, and we had that discussion. I wanted to bring obviously the closeness, obviously. So you're Mayor of Middlesbrough, and obviously this area of our East Riding. So you Hull viewers out there will have a little bit of empathy with Andy because he knows the area well. But yeah, Nellie's is actually the oldest pub in Beverley. It's everybody who lives in Beverley thinks it's the Monk's Walk, which is near the Minster. But so for people who don't know where Beverley is that are watching this is going to be irrelevant. But to local people, I've probably given away little hints there, a little bit of history. But yes, it was originally the White Horse. So
Beverley's a fantastic town. It's a beautiful place, really beautiful place.
It's a mini York.
For people watching who haven't been, I would say go and. It's a lovely little day out. There's some nice little shops. You've got a minster there, like a small cathedral, right? Yes. And you've got some really old, beautiful pubs, like really stunning places. Once we reopen them, I guess properly.
Yes, definitely.
Great place, really nice place.
And I know Middlesbrough quite well because my sister lives up there on the Ingleby Barwick. Up Ingleby Barwick it's called, the Cleveland housing. I think she lives near some famous footballers up there. So
Right. Okay.
yeah, so it's quite an affluent sort of area. Obviously, there's areas of not so affluent, but yes, I've
Sure.
had many a trip. She's lived there for 30 years, so
All right. Okay.
had many a trips up in Middlesbrough, so I know the area well.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, so what you're doing, I know exactly how it'll benefit and how, you know, your productivity is going to help the town. So is there anything you'd like to mention to our viewers while we round up the show? That's it for questions. I think I've grilled you enough and put you on the spot with Steve. I might have created a little turf war there, but turf war.
I'm trying to think of any questions, any things that I'd like to mention. I don't think so. I think I'm good. I love what you do. I love, you know, yourself and Andy, the other Andy, what the great stuff that you both do. I think it's fantastic. I think working with veterans, working with trees, getting out there is just brilliant. And I hope we can work together. I can't promise that, but I hope we can work together.
Yeah, there will be some correlation. I know the Sleepouts, the veteran Sleepouts, you know, that Bianca Robinson that's doing, obviously she's up your way, and you know we all need to work together. We've all got a common cause in mind, and we can help each other out. So
actually, Gail, I would mention that. So I'd like to raise that because I know Andy's been a big advocate and he's working hard. There's going to be there's a charity called CEO Sleepout, which originally got executives to sleep outdoors overnight to raise money to fight homelessness. And there's a lady called Bianca Robinson who runs that. It's a charity I set up and she runs it.
She was on the show last week. So if you missed that, viewers, go check it out.
And Bianca is organising, I think with Andy or with some other people, an event down in Hull in the coming months.
It's going to be September, I think, Andy.
In September. And it's going to be raising money to fight homelessness, but with a particular emphasis on the military and on veterans. I know Andy's working hard on getting some regiments involved. So check that out, CEO Sleepout Hull. There's going to be a fantastic event, a really great event, and everyone's welcome to play a role and raise some money and just do fantastic work and meet new people, have fun.
Exactly. The ultimate thing is it's not a nice subject. Obviously, you know, people sleeping out on the streets and homeless, and it's something that, you know, obviously we're all going to do out of our comfort zone. But, you know, the message is serious. And I think it's the people power. If enough of us rally together, join forces. Oh, there we go. There's the army link. Join forces, you know, and we can build Britain back better. That's my philosophy. So, well, thanks ever so much for talking to us on the show, Andy. It's been a pleasure, and yes, we'll look forward to working with you in the future.
Great.
Thanks ever so much. It's bye from Gail Acaster. Bye for now.
Bye.